Um, According to an article in New York Times published in April 8th, 2014, in the article, Buddhism is good for your health. Professor Davidson, who is a known Buddhist, noted in an aerial just behind your front forehead, shows that in recent research tests associated with positive emotion, oftentimes connected to religion, which is the most intense that we can see in experiments that he viewed in 175 people. According to the BuddhistCenter.com, found on April 25th, 2014, the Buddhist religion is one of self-discovery, peace, and tranquility that ultimately brings wisdom. An enlightened being sees the nature of reality absolutely clearly, just as it is, and lives life fully and naturally in the accordance of that vision. The goal of the Buddhist spiritual life is to end suffering for anyone who attains it. I am relevant to speak about this topic because I have been studying extensively for 2 weeks. I believe that everyone who even has a religion should go and experiment with other religions and just finding out what they're about instead of just their own. First, I'll explain the history behind Buddhism, then I will talk about the beliefs and practices, and finally, I will state the differences between Buddhism and my own religion, Christianity. First, I will talk about the history. According to Yuri.org, published in 2002 with the United Religions Initiative, Buddhism started about 2,500 years ago when a prince named Siddhartha Gautama began to question his sheltered life in the palace. So he went out and explored. He saw four sights: a sick man, an old man, and a monk, um, and a dead man. From these four sights, he realized that sickness can't escape anybody, even himself. So when he seen the monk, he realized that he should just go out and become a wandering holy man. And that's what he did. He tried various religious practices such as praying and meditating. And finally, after one day of sitting under an oak tree, he finally came to the enlightenment or Nidira, um, which was which answered the questions why people suffer and the cause of suffering. So after he got enlightened from that, his followers ended up calling him Buddha, which means the enlightened one. Buddha taught his followers what is called the three universal truths. The three universal truths, which was everything in life is impermanent and is always changing, and that nothing in life can be possessed will make you happy by possessing things or having people in your life, and that there is no eternal unchanging soul, and we are just a collection of characteristics and attributes. Um, and the four noble truths, which are human life has a lot of suffering, the cause of suffering is greed, that there is no end to suffering. There is an end to suffering. The way to end suffering is through the middle path. Next, I will talk about what Buddhists believe and what they practice. Buddhists practice spiritual development, leading to insight into the nature of reality. They also practice tranquil activities like meditation, which is a true meaning of self-change, in order to develop the qualities of awareness, kindness, and wisdom. According to the BuddhistCenter.com, found on April 25th, 2014, the goal is for an enlightenment being to see the nature of the life around them for what it is and accept it. In fact, throughout many of Buddha's teachings, he told his followers not to worship him as a god, but to also try to find their own enlightenment path. And he taught his followers that there's a middle way which doesn't have too much fasting, but there's also another way that isn't so luxurious. So he just told his followers to follow the middle path, which has to deal with both sides. And through this way, you will become a enlightened being. Now, I will talk about how Buddhism is different than Christianity. First, according to BuddhismCenter.com, found on April 25th, 2014, it states that Buddhism doesn't believe in the idea of worshiping a creator or a god, and nothing is fixed or permanent. That their actions have consequences, change is possible. It teaches methods which enable people to realize and use its teachings in order to transform their experience and to be fully responsible for their lives. Whereas Christians, we believe in the idea of worshiping the God and that everything is already known to God and that He has everything set already. And but we do agree with Buddhists on the fact that change is possible and we are responsible for our actions and our lives. To conclude my presentation, I will say that more people should try to understand religions other than their own. For example, I'm a Christian talking about Buddhism, trying to learn a little something and take a risk. I've talked about what Buddhism is and what they practice and how they are different from my very own religion. This is what I've always seen Buddhists as, like, who Buddha was, and this is actually not the truth. Buddha was a slimmer man, such as this one. He was never fat, just in the Asian culture that people were seen as like wealthy and have a higher class. And that's my common knowledge of Buddha.